The breaking point, the chamber of the Galactic Council, was older than memory. Its tall silver pillars reached into the clouds, and every seat was filled with powerful alien leaders from across the stars. They believed themselves rulers of the Sind, galaxy, the voice of order, the guardians of peace. But on this day, silence cut through the hall. At the center of the chamber, a single figure stood. He was not scaled or feathered or shining like the other species. He was human. Ambassador Daniel Reeves of Earth looked at the endless rows of alien faces staring down at him. His voice did not shake. "Earth will no longer obey the Galactic Council," he said. "From this day forward, we stand free." The hall erupted. Alien voices shouted, some in disbelief, others in rage. The Archon-Dominion's delegate hissed, their mandibles snapping. The tall, glowing Elythians shouted warnings about chaos. The heavy-bodied Zern smashed their fists into the table, demanding punishment. The High Chancellor of the Council, a six-eyed being wrapped in golden robes, struck the floor with his staff. "Silence," the Chancellor boomed. "Humanity cannot. Leave. You are bound by the Treaty of Submission. Do you dare defy the will of the galaxy?" Ambassador Reeves lifted his eyes. He had been waiting for this question. "Yes," he said. "Earth dares." Gasps filled the chamber. For thousands of years, no member had spoken against the Council so openly. Races far stronger than humanity had bent their knees. Worlds had been crushed for lesser defiance. Yet here stood a man from a small blue planet, speaking as if he carried the weight of the stars. The Chancellor leaned forward. "You think your fragile world can survive without us? We gave you Starflight. We allowed you into our markets. We protected you from the threats beyond. Without the Council, Earth is nothing." Reeves did not flinch. "Without the Council, Earth is free." The chamber trembled with fury. The delegates roared, demanding sanctions, demanding war. Already, some plotted in secret how to strike Earth, how to erase this insult before it spread to other species. But among the chaos, a few alien eyes looked at the human with something different. Not anger, not fear, but curiosity. What gave these humans such courage? Reeves gave his final words, his voice echoing across the hall. "For too long, you treated Earth as a child. You gave us orders, demanded our tribute, and laughed when we asked for respect. That ends today. From this day on, Earth belongs to no one but itself." And then he turned his back on the Council. The guards at the chamber doors reached for their weapons, but the Chancellor lifted a hand. "Let him go," he ordered. His voice was calm, but his six eyes burned with quiet fury. "Let him return to his fragile home. Soon he will learn what it means to defy us." The doors closed behind the human ambassador, and with them, the last tie between Earth and the Council was cut. Back on Earth, the news spread like wildfire. In cities across the planet, people stopped to listen to the broadcast. Some cheered. Some feared what would come. But all of them knew history had changed. For centuries, Earth had been mocked as the weak link of the galaxy. Too young, too reckless, too small. Now it had taken the most dangerous step of all. The Galactic Council began to move quickly. Fleets were mobilized. Trade embargoes were signed. Spies whispered of punishments being planned. The galaxy waited for Earth to break, but Earth did not tremble. In the shadows of the solar system, far from the Council's eyes, ships stirred. Black holes gleamed in the dark, engines humming with power no alien had ever seen. These were not the ships the Council knew. These were something else, something built in secret. For a moment just like this, the humans had been preparing. And, while the Council believed they had crushed Earth under their rules and chains, humanity had been patient. Humanity had been watching. Now, with one speech, they had set the stars on fire. The High Chancellor met with his inner circle after the session. His golden robes glowed under the light as he spoke to his advisors. "If Earth refuses to kneel," he said slowly, "then they will burn." No one in the chamber disagreed. They had destroyed whole civilizations before. Earth would be no different. But none of them knew the truth. The galaxy thought Earth was weak. The galaxy thought Earth was foolish. The galaxy was wrong. And very soon, the Council would learn the cost of underestimating humanity. The breaking point had arrived. Asterisk whispers of war. The Council chamber was empty now, but its echoes still carried across the stars. Earth's defiance spread faster than light, repeated in whispers, shouted in newsrooms, hidden in secret transmissions. Earth broke free. They walked away from the Council. They will pay. The galaxy trembled on the great world of Krylos. The Archandominion's warlords gathered in their black stone fortress. Their mandibles clicked as they spoke of humanity. "Primitive," one hissed. "They cannot stand against our fleets." "Dangerous," another warned. "Only a fool spits in the face of the Council." "Perhaps they have allies." "Crush them before others follow," the warlord leader said. "If Earth is not destroyed, rebellion will spread." In the shining towers of Elith Prime, the glowing Elythians argued. Their voices sang like bells, but their words dripped with fear. "If Earth can leave," one Elythian murmured, "then so can others. They must be punished. No, they must be watched. Humans are not like the others. They change things." And in the shadows, spies listened, carrying whispers back to Earth. Meanwhile, Earth remained strangely silent. No angry broadcasts. No desperate pleas. No armies moving to defend. The Council mistook this silence for fear. They thought Earth was waiting, trembling, hoping for mercy. But deep beneath the oceans, in vast hidden bases, human commanders studied star maps lit with red. They whispered not of surrender, but of timing. The Council's fleets began to gather. At first, patrols shifted closer to the solar system. Then, warships massed near the border. Carriers and dreadnoughts lit up the void with their engines. Chancellor himself spoke to the galaxy. "Earth has betrayed the unity of the stars. They have chosen isolation, and in doing so, they have chosen chaos. Order will be restored." His voice was calm. His eyes promised fire in the cities of Earth. People listened. Some felt fear. The Council fleets were legendary, countless, unstoppable. But others remembered something else. They remembered the wars of Earth's past. They remembered that humanity had always been underestimated. When humanity was cornered, it had never bowed. One night, above the quiet fields of northern Canada, a black shape rose into the sky. No lights, no signals. Silent as a ghost dot it was. A warship human-made, but unlike any the Council had seen. Its hull was sharp and dark, built for speed and silence. Its weapons were hidden, but its engines pulsed with terrifying power. It slipped into the void without a trace. And it was not alone. Across the solar system, ships that did not officially exist began to move. From hidden stations in the asteroid belt, from secret shipyards under the frozen seas of Europa, from bases hidden inside Saturn's rings, a fleet was rising. The Council thought Earth was defenseless. They were wrong. On a Council world, a young alien merchant whispered to his friend, "Did you hear? Entire fleets vanish in the dark. No wreckage, no distress signals, only silence." His friend shook his head nervously. "Council ships?" "Yes, they say, humans." Rumors spread like wildfire. Fleets gone, patrols lost, human ghosts in the night. Some left. Humans couldn't do that. They were too small, too weak. But deep down, even the strongest began to wonder. Back on Earth, The human leadership sat in a dark war room. Screens flickered with council fleet movements. General Harding, her voice calm but sharp, spoke to the Council of Commanders. They believe we are weak. They believe we are silent because we are afraid. Let them keep believing. She pointed to the map. Red dots glowed across council space. When the time comes, we will strike. Not with words, not with treaties, with fire. The whispers of war grew louder. The galaxy began to divide. Some species begged the Council to act quickly and destroy Earth before rebellion spread. Others secretly sent messages to humanity, offering support, desperate for a chance to break their own chains. The Council still believed they held control, but in truth, the galaxy was shifting dot, and at the center of it all stood Earth dot in the dead of night. As the hidden fleet moved quietly across the void, a single human phrase repeated again and again in every secret channel. Wait, watch, strike. The galaxy thought Earth had made a mistake. The galaxy thought Earth was powerless. But soon, the stars themselves would burn. The whispers of war had begun. Asterisk. Fire in the stars. The first fire began far from Earth. A council fleet of 12 warships drifted near the trade routes of the Trellin sector. Their orders were simple. Hunt down any ship that carried human goods, seize it, and send a message to. The galaxy Earth has no friends. For days, the fleet moved without resistance. They boarded merchant ships, earned convoys, and silenced entire colonies that traded with humanity. Then, one night in the endless void, their long-range scanners detected a lone vessel. Small, human. The Archon commander laughed, his mandibles clicking in amusement. Bring me the human ship. Tear it apart. But as the alien fleet turned, the small ship did not run. It held position, waiting in the dark. The commander gave the order to fire dot, and then the stars exploded. The lone human vessel was not a freighter. It was a trap. From the shadows, 5 black warships emerged. Their hulls absorbed light, their engines silent. They cut across the void with impossible speed. Missiles streaked out, guided by strange human tech. Drones swarmed like angry wasps. And railguns thundered dot. The Archon fleet tried to form a defensive line, but their ships shattered in minutes. Shields failed. Armor split. Fires consumed them. The commander screamed for retreat, but his words never reached his crew. His flagship, cracked in half, torn apart by human fire. Within 1 hour, 12 council warships were gone. Nothing was left but silence. The news spread quickly. The council tried to hide it, but whispers slipped out. A fleet had vanished. The killers? Humans. Some called it impossible. Others called it the beginning. The High Chancellor gathered his inner circle. His golden robes shone under the great lights, but his voice was cold. Earth dares to fight us openly. They will pay. Double the fleets. Triple them if needed. Burn every ally they have. But one of his advisors hesitated. My Chancellor, the Alithian delegate whispered, what if the humans are not as weak as we thought? What if— Silence, the Chancellor roared. They are ants. Ants cannot fight titans, and we are titans. The chamber was quiet, but deep in their hearts, even the most loyal council members felt doubt. On Earth, the hidden fleet celebrated. Its first victory in silence. No songs, no speeches. Only quiet pride. Admiral Rachel Harding stood aboard the human flagship Defiance. Her eyes scanned the reports. 12 ships destroyed. No human losses. Good, she said calmly. But this is only the first step. The council will come harder now. Her officers nodded. They all knew the truth. Victory was dangerous. It would draw more fire, but it had also shown something else. Humanity could win. Meanwhile, the galaxy burned. The Council struck back at any world that supported Earth. Alien colonies went dark. Entire cities turned to ash. Chaos spread across trade routes. But something unexpected happened. For every world the Council burned, 2 more whispered. Maybe Earth was right. The Council promised order. But everywhere there was only fire. And in the chaos, human fleets moved unseen, striking again and again. One alien witnessed a small merchant ship. Captain later told the story to anyone who would listen. "We thought the humans were trapped," the alien said. "The Council had them surrounded. Then their ships came out of the dark. They moved like shadows, faster than light. Their weapons cut through armor like paper. And when it was over, the Council ships were gone. Gone, as if the stars themselves fought for Earth." The story spread. It grew larger with every telling. Soon, humans were no longer seen as weak. They were seen as hunters. Ghosts of the Void dot back on Elith Prime. A young Elithian scholar whispered to her friends. "The Council says humanity is dangerous. But what if humanity is our chance? What if they can break the chains?" Her words were dangerous. But they were not the only ones. Across the galaxy, the Council's grip was loosening dot, and humanity's fire was spreading dot at the War Council on Earth. Admiral Harding pointed at the star map. Red dots lit up across the Galaxy Council fleets. Moving, battles raging, colonies burning. "We are not here to survive," she told her officers. "We are here to change the galaxy. Forever." No one spoke. No one argued. They all knew what she meant. Humanity had started something no one could stop. Council believed they were crushing Earth. But in truth, they had awakened something far worse. The fire had started. And soon, the stars themselves would burn. Asterisk. The hidden fleet, the galaxy, thought it had seen the strength of humanity. It had not. The Council still believed Earth's victories came from luck, from small ambushes in the dark. They thought the humans had only a handful of hidden ship's ghosts, playing at war. They were wrong. Deep inside the solar system, far below the frozen seas of Europa, Titanic shipyards stirred. Their existence was a secret kept for 100 years. Here, under layers of ice and darkness, Earth had built its true answer to the Council. Warships larger than cities rested in silence. Their black hulls drank in the light. Their engines pulsed with energy not seen anywhere in the galaxy. Their weapons were hidden, but their power was unmistakable. This was not a fleet built for defense. This was a fleet built for war. Admiral Harding stood on the command deck of the Defiance, staring at the screen as one by one the ships of the hidden armada came online. Carriers, dreadnoughts, stealth cruisers, swarms of drones. Her officers stood silent, almost in awe. For generations, their people had been mocked as weak, ordered to obey, forced to pay tribute. Now, the truth was before them. Humanity had prepared. Humanity was ready. Meanwhile, whispers spread through the galaxy. Fleets kept vanishing. Patrols went silent. Entire squadrons burned without warning. The Council sent spies to investigate, but none returned. One Elithian scholar wrote in her secret notes, "We always feared humanity's fire. But what if it was not fire? What if it was a storm waiting in the dark?" On the far edge of Council space, an entire armada of 60 ships closed around a single human colony. The order was clear: destroy it. But before they could fire, the stars themselves seemed to open. Dozens of black warships emerged from the void, faster than anything the aliens had seen. Silent, relentless, the human commander's voice echoed. Across every channel, "You came to burn our world. Now we will burn your fleet." And then the hidden fleet struck. Railguns lit up the darkness, tearing through shields. Swarms of drones ripped into the alien ships like a storm of blades. Missiles detonated with surgical precision. The battle lasted less than an hour. When it was over, 60 council ships floated as wrecks. The human colony stood untouched. The galaxy, when silent. News of the hidden fleet spread everywhere. No one knew how many ships Earth truly had. Some whispered 100. Others swore it was thousands. Every number was a guess. Every guess was wrong. The truth was simple. Humanity had more than the Council ever imagined. The Chancellor sat in his golden throne, rage twisting his six-eyed face. His advisors trembled as he shouted, "Where did they build this fleet? How did they build it without us knowing?" No one answered. No one dared. The truth was worse than silence. The Council had grown arrogant. They had watched humanity for centuries, but never looked too closely. They believed humans were too weak, too foolish, too young. And while they mocked, Earth prepared. Across the galaxy, oppressed species listened in secret to the rumors. The humans fight back. They have a fleet they can stand against. The Council, and something dangerous began to spread hope. Worlds that had never dared to resist now whispered rebellion. The Council's grip was cracking, not just from war, but from belief got back on Earth. Admiral Harding addressed her officers. "They will come with everything they have," she said, her voice steady. "And when they do, we will show them everything we have." Her words carried across the fleet, through every ship and every soldier. For the first time in history, humanity was not hiding. They were ready to stand in the light of the stars. The Council thought Earth had broken ties out of pride. The truth was far worse. Earth had broken ties because they no longer needed the Council. And as the hidden fleet moved into formation, the galaxy realized a terrible truth. The Council was not hunting humanity. Humanity was hunting the Council. The war had only just begun. Asterisk. The Council strikes back. The galaxy was no longer calm. Every world spoke the same words. Humanity fights back. They have a fleet. They cannot be stopped. But the Council was not ready to surrender. Not yet. From the shining halls of the Grand Spire, the High Chancellor gave his order. "Gather every fleet, every ship, every soldier. We will strike Earth with the full might of the Council. Let the stars burn if they must. Humanity will be erased." And so, the largest armada in galactic history began to move. Thousands of warships, carriers large as moons, dreadnoughts bristling with weapons, endless swarms of drones. The void glowed with their engines as they advanced toward the solar system. To the galaxy, it looked unstoppable. To the humans, it looked like an opportunity. On the flagship, Defiance, Admiral Harding stood before her officers. The star map showed the Council's armada like a flood of red light, spreading across the void. "They believe this is the end," she said calmly. "But we have been preparing for this moment for a century." Her commanders leaned in. They already knew what she was about to say. "We will not meet them in open battle," she explained. "We cannot match their numbers ship for ship, but we don't need to. We will bleed them. We will break them piece by piece. And when they reach Earth, they will already be dying." The plan was simple and deadly. Human fleets scattered into the dark. They did not try to stop the armada directly. Instead, they struck at supply lines, ambushed stragglers, cut communication relays. Every day, the great Council armada lost something. A fuel convoy vanished. A carrier exploded in the night. Entire scout wings went silent. And yet, the armada pushed on. In the colonies, oppressed species watched in awe. They had never seen the Council bleed before. Never seen them chase an enemy and find only shadows. An old alien miner whispered to his grandson, "Remember this, child. The humans fight differently. They do not strike once, they strike forever." The Council commanders grew nervous. They had expected an easy march to Earth, Instead, their fleets arrived battered and limping, missing ships, running low on supplies. But their arrogance burned hotter than their fear. Human tricks, one Arkan warlord hissed. When we reach their world, we will crush them. And still, the Armada advanced. Far ahead of them, hidden in Saturn's rings, the human fleet waited. The Defiance floated silent among the ice and stone. Thousands of human ships were cloaked in the shadows, their engines cold, their weapons ready. Admiral Harding watched the Council Armada draw near. The void trembled with its size. Her second-in-command whispered, "Admiral, they are too many." Harding's eyes never left the screen. "Too many for anyone else," she said. "But not for us." The first clash came near Titan. The Council Armada entered Saturn's orbit, expecting nothing. Instead, the ice fields lit with human fire. Railguns cracked open carriers. Drones burst from the shadows, tearing into cruisers. Missiles screamed through the void, ripping apart dreadnoughts. The Council was caught in chaos. Their formations shattered. But then, wave after wave of their ships poured forward. Their numbers were endless. The humans fought hard, but the Armada kept advancing. On the bridge of the Defiance, alarms screamed. Hulls buckled. Flames tore through ships. Still, Admiral Harding stood tall. "This is not where we win," she said. "This is where we draw them in." And then humanity's true weapon revealed itself. From beneath the ice of Europa, massive cannons rose. From deep within Jupiter's storms, hidden launch platforms activated. From the asteroid belt, silos opened like the eyes of giants. A storm of fire erupted across the solar system. The Council Armada, already bleeding, now faced humanity's greatest trap: Earth itself, every planet, every moon, every hidden base. All of them became weapons. The void burned with explosions. For the first time in its long history, the Council knew fear. On Elith Prime, the scholar who once whispered of storms now wrote only one line in her journal: "The humans do not defend. Their world itself is a weapon." The solar system was no longer just home. It was a fortress. And as the Council Armada struggled to survive, humanity prepared for the final blow. The Council had struck back. But it was humanity's turn to strike harder. Asterisk fall of Titans. The solar system burned. Every moon, every asteroid, every hidden base unleashed fire. Humanity's trap had closed, but the Council's Armada was vast. Even as their ships shattered under the storm, more pressed forward. Thousands of warships filled the void, blotting out the stars. The humans fought like wolves, striking fast and vanishing, but the Council still pushed toward Earth. The galaxy held its breath. Would the Titans crush the humans, or would the Titans fall? On the bridge of the Defiance, Admiral Harding's face was lit by the red glow of battle. "Report," she barked. 70 Council ships destroyed, an officer shouted. "But they still have more than 1,000. Another voice cut in. "We've lost contact with the Resolute and the Guardian. Heavy damage to the line at Europa." The Admiral's jaw tightened. Hold the line. Earth must not fall. Her eyes moved to the great screen. The Council's dreadnoughts, massive beasts, larger than mountains, were advancing. Their guns glowed with the power to tear planets apart. These were the Titans of the Council. Ships said to be unstoppable, and they were heading straight for Earth. The order came from the High Chancellor himself, his voice echoing through the fleet. Erase their home. Burn Earth to ash. The Titans roared forward, but Earth was ready. From deep beneath its oceans, giant silos opened. From hidden craters on the moon, long-range cannons lifted. From Mars, swarms of drones burst into the sky. The entire solar system answered the Chancellor's command with a single voice of defiance. The Titans met the fury of Earth itself. The first fell near Mars. A swarm of drones wrapped around its engines, drilling into its hull. The massive ship screamed with alarms before it detonated, ripping apart in a fireball, brighter than the sun. The second was caught in Jupiter's orbit. From the planet's storms, hidden rail platforms fired round after round until the dreadnought. Cracked open like glass dot, the third reached near-Earth orbit. Its cannons glowed, ready to fire when a lone human ship rammed straight into it. The explosion tore them both apart, saving the planet below. The Titans were falling. Still, the battle was brutal. Human ships burned. Officers screamed. Families on Earth prayed as fire streaked the sky. Admiral Harding gripped the railing. Every choice she made meant lives lost. Every second of hesitation meant the Council pushing closer, but her voice never shook. Push them. Back. Do not stop. This is our home. We fight for every inch of it. Her officers obeyed without question, for they believed, as all humanity now believed, if Earth fell, the galaxy would fall with it. And then came the moment that changed everything. The Council's largest Titan, the dreadnought Eternal Dominion, broke through the lines. It was colossal. Its guns enough to turn oceans into steam. Its shadow fell across Earth itself. Panic rippled across the human fleet, but Admiral Harding did not flinch. Bring the Defiance forward, she ordered. Her crew stared at her in shock. Admiral, that ship is too strong. The Defiance can't. Yes, it can, Harding said. Her voice was calm, but her eyes burned like fire. Because it must. The human flagship charged. Railguns thundered. Missiles streaked. The Defiance drove straight into the shadow of the Titan, firing everything it had. The Eternal Dominion answered with fire that shook the void. The Defiance shook, hull cracking, alarms blaring. Still, it fought on. The battle between Titan and flagship became legend. Every world in the galaxy would remember it. The moment when one human ship stood against a giant. On the surface of Earth, billions watched the night sky burn. Some cried. Some prayed. All whispered the same word, defiance. At last, the Titan cracked. The Eternal Dominion groaned as explosions tore through its core. But the Defiance was burning too. Flames ripped across its decks. Its engines failed. Admiral Harding stood, tall on the bridge as the ship began to break apart. Transmit this message, she said, to every world, to every people. Tell them, humanity fights, humanity endures, and humanity will win. Then, with one final push, the Defiance rammed the Titan. The explosion lit the void brighter than a star. Both ships vanished in the fire. Silence followed. And then, across the galaxy, a whisper rose. The Titans can fall. The Council had sent their greatest power against Earth. But now the galaxy knew the truth. Even Titans could bleed. Even Titans could die. And humanity had proved it. The fall of Titans had begun. Asterisk. The dawn of a new order. The fire of the Defiance still burned in the skies when silence fell. The greatest of the Council's Titans had been destroyed. Their unbreakable armada had been broken, and the galaxy had changed forever. Billions across alien worlds stared at the stars, their voices trembling with a single truth. The Titans can fall. The Council can bleed. Oppressed colonies, once silent, now rose in defiance. Chains were broken. Flags of rebellion spread like wildfire. The galaxy that had been ruled by fear for 1,000 years now saw something new. Hope. But for humanity, the cost had been high. On the ruins of the flagship Defiance, Admiral Harding and her crew were gone. Thousands of ships had been lost. Entire colonies lay scarred. And yet, the human fleet still stood. Earth still stood. The Council had thrown everything into the fire and failed. In the Grand Spire, the High Chancellor raged. His golden throne shook as he slammed his clawed hands against it. They were supposed to fall. They were supposed to be erased. His advisors trembled in silence. For even here, the truth was clear. The Council was no longer feared dot, and fear had been their greatest weapon. On Earth, a funeral was held. Billions watched as a single starship fragment from the Defiance was placed into orbit, shining like a beacon. Children pointed at it with wonder. Old veterans saluted with tears. The Admiral was gone, but her last words still echoed across every world. Humanity fights. Humanity endures. Humanity will win. And the galaxy believed. Weeks later, fleets of alien ships appeared in Earth's orbit, but they did not come to fight. They came to bow. The Alithians, the Arvorians, the Drek, and countless others, all who had lived under the Council's shadow-sent envoys. Their leaders spoke the same words. We no longer trust the Council. We choose to stand with humanity. A new order was being born dot, where once the Council ruled with fear. Now Earth began to lead with strength and choice. The humans did not demand tribute. They did not demand chains. Instead, they offered something the galaxy had almost forgotten. Freedom. One by one, the alien worlds joined, not as slaves, not as subjects, but as allies. The Galactic Council was crumbling dot, and in its place rose something greater dot from the orbit of Earth. A new assembly gathered. Human captains sat beside alien elders. Soldiers sat beside scholars. For the first time in history, every voice mattered dot. This was not the Council. This was something new dot, the Galactic Alliance, born from the fire of war, forged by humanity's defiance. But not all was peace dot in the shadows. The Council still lived. Their armies shattered, their fleets burned, but their hatred remained. The Chancellor swore vengeance, his voice echoing in the dark. This is not the end. The humans think they have won. But we will return. We will destroy them. And so, the seeds of future wars were planted. Yet, for this moment, the galaxy stood free. On the surface of Earth, a child looked to the night sky and asked her mother, "Will they come again?" The mother smiled faintly, placing her hand on the child's shoulder. "Yes, one day. But if they do," she pointed to the shining beacon of the Defiance in orbit, "we will be ready." And so, the story ended not with silence, but with fire. Humanity had broken from the Council. Humanity had survived the chaos. Humanity had lit the stars with a new dawn, and across the galaxy, every world knew the truth. This was the age of humans that the dawn of a new order had begun. Asterisk